All right, greetings from the wasteland. This is Freedom Phil, and what's the topic here? Just sitting here chilling outside in the shade of the survival pod. I honestly, as I get older, there are so many things that I just might have cared about when I was younger that I just don't give a damn about. And it's not that I don't have the energy; it's just that I just don't have the inspiration to give a damn. And one of the things is the opinions of people, particularly women, when it comes to their problems, their issues, their things. Where am I going with this? This is Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. I always turn up the video speed. And why do I say that? Because frankly, why are you watching videos at regular speed? What are you doing? When I upload this, you should watch it at 1.75. I went my own way ages ago because I'm just kind of a albino ogre of sorts. I've never really been much of a ladies' man. There's some women that are attracted to me for whatever reason. And, I've had some fun here and there, but I got to be honest about it. The day I stopped really giving a damn about mostly what anybody else thought about me, but particularly the opinions of women, my life got way fucking easier. And I think most people get to this point when they're older, like it's either both men and women, like they get to that point where it's like, hey, I've had my kids, or I've done this or that. The naive mentalities of my teens were a little more rationalized in my 20s. And by my 30s, I started being an actual adult, and then by your 40s, you're just like, fuck it. And I can tell you there's a level of inner peace with that. Like, you just start looking at the world and you're like, what do I actually want? Not what does the world want from me, not do what women want to see in men, because none of that shit means a damn to me. And I don't say that to be cold or harsh or anything like that, but like, I view a lot of relationships, and this sounds cold at first, but they're kind of transactionary. Like in the sense that if you don't keep everybody around you happy, then you kind of get the cold shoulder from people. And if they want what you have going on, then they're around, but they're there because they want what you bring to the table. Now take away the thing that they want for a second, and are they still there? And I start to think, man, how real is that? How real is that relationship? Or is that just the concept of, love is nothing more than a projection? You're projecting and you're hoping the other person reciprocates and has the same feelings. Not all the time they do that. Sometimes people are just like there for what's good for them at the time. Now I say, why not just be the same way? Why not be like, hey, I'm doing what's good for me at the time, and we all do what's good for us at the time. Maybe we can come together and have a good time for a while, but not this thing where people think this is eternity. This is going to last forever. There is the concept when it comes to relationships, that wild thought here. Maybe this is just something of the season. Like there are some flowers that if the conditions are right, the disturbance soil gets just right, seeds that were planted ages ago come up and bloom. And it's like, man, that was cool. But then maybe that's not the same thing last year. And it won't last it'll last X amount of season and it'll be gone. But that's part of the reason I say just enjoy some of the things while they're happening, while they're there. Don't piss away a ton of money on it. Don't make a plan forever with something that may not be there next year. And as I've gotten older, I just kind of like, I kind of render it down to what makes me happy. And that's a lot of it's just straight up inner peace. Like me and the dog, walked down to the river, gathered the water, did some laundry, took a quick bath. And I walked up a hill. I took the hard hill this time. Well, I did it. I'll tell you what. I don't know if I'm ready for that one on the regular. But I'll tell you what, man. I got a laid back, no problems life that cost me, $200 to $300 a month. And I manufacture my own, not bliss, but yes, sometimes bliss, but inner peace. And I think that's really what a lot of people should be aiming for. The idea of being happy all the time is something that is childish. It's like for a sweet to be a thing, you got to have a little salt, a little bit of sweet, a little sour. To enjoy things, there has to be counter flavors. But once you get to some place where you just have a good flow, a good baseline, Occasionally, some things will be disappointing, but for generally, once you got a good, comfortable inner peace baseline, then it's like most of the time, because everything's so minimalistic and laid back, you just don't have any real problems. And it makes the day a lot fucking better. Like, you're not chasing after a paycheck. You're not chasing after popularity or none of that shit. You just get up and think that, what do I want to do today? I should probably do more of my life. I already did a lot with my life, but maybe I should do more. And that's when it gets to really, really good. And I understand the way I live is repulsive to most normies. I would never. You know what's funny? You'll see some people that have lived the way I lived, and they're like, man, I wish I could be back there. You know, like one time let me tell you this story from back in the day. There was a medieval fair down up there over there in Western Washington. I think it was On Tier. Is it not On Tier West War? I don't know, what was it? Autumn War? It was this SCA event. And I didn't want to drive my van down there. I had the bags from my motorcycle, and I had knobby tires on it. And I rode all the way down there and had a little tiny camp. And there were guys like, man, I miss when it was like that. It wasn't a whole operation. It wasn't a van, a vehicle. I just hop on the motorcycle. And some people get it. They're like, I can't believe you rode an enduro all the way down here. I'm like, fuck it. You just do it. You drive so many miles, you pull over, kind of check things out, stretch. You drive X amount of number of miles, you stretch. You want to sleep somewhere, you literally just pull over anywhere. You know, like, you're like, hey, there's a nice area. It's kind of secluded. Roll the bike into there. Bust out your bedroll. Catch some Z's. The sun comes up and a fucking train goes by. Turns out I was close to the airport, too. I'm like, whoa, fuck, that's loud. But there's a certain level of freedom you have when you're not carrying everybody else's weight. And you just do as you want to do. And part of my laid back life is the fact that I'm just not dealing. Like, do you see these women that are out there like, a man's got to be this, just have fun chasing that guy. Have fun with that. Enjoy that shit. I am not going to waste my time being that guy. And, you know, society talking about real men need to do translation. Real men just need to be working slaves. That's really all I ever fucking hear when the so-called real man crowd comes around. Mind you, you want a good example, just not to be a downer, but how many of those homeless people you see out on the streets were real men when they were in the military back in the day, but they come back to a country that either A, they're disabled and fucked up in the brain from seeing some shit, or B, the industries they used to work in are now gone, and it's like there's nothing left for them, and people are like, oh, sink or swim, motherfucker. Shit, I've seen a lot of real men get fucking thrown to the wolves. I ain't trying to be mean about that, but like, my outlook is like, if the reward for being a quote-unquote real man is basically I'm just a disposable oil filter, well, fuck you. I'm not going to decide to be an oil filter. I'm going to decide to be something I want to be. And that's just my outlook, man. Part of the reason I have such a laid-back life, my life is so good, is I stopped giving a fuck. And that makes everything better. You know? I don't know. Maybe that's the beauty of, like, if you could figure out, I kind of had this figured out in my early 20s. But then I got hooked into that whole, you know, hey, you know, be responsible. You should be doing something, grow up. You know, I had a little place for $100 a month out in the woods, a little yurt, rented some land. For 4 years, I lived that way. Now, mind you, I should have been a trucker back then. You know, I could have had it all figured out earlier. But I still see people that are my age that are still chasing after that it's like they're chasing after glory that never existed. Cars, clothes, crap. Wearing some other dude's sports jersey. Like, dude, you want to have the glory on that sports stuff. You go out and play the ball yourself. You know? You imagine if hunters did that? Oh, yeah, man. Maybe they do. Remember when Mossy Oak was the thing? And they're all wearing the fucking dude bro Mossy Oak shit, and they got the, you know, this canopy and that shit and these chairs, and it's like, what I'm getting at with that statement is when you go out and you hunt your deer, your turkey, your whatever, or your big ass fucking steelhead or salmon, The only guy that gets the glory is the man who caught it. You know, so this whole thing of buying things to chase after fucking people perceiving that you've done something, been something, that's all bullshit. But hey, man, it's your life to waste. Have fun with it. I'm having fun with mine. Peace. Take it easy. Let's see if there's any comments. All right, there's a comment there.